Joins us. Premier, thank you for your time. We are shutting our borders to foreigners from 9 p.m. tonight. Tasmania has imposed a quarantine period for anyone going to that island state. Have you considered any similar measures for New South Wales?
Oh, look, I don't think the mainland Australia is the same as Tasmania, but Laura, I'm not surprised at those border restrictions on international visitors, and I'm relieved about that. I support that because we know in New South Wales the vast majority of our cases are because of people's overseas travel or direct contacts with those people, and that's forming the vast majority of the cases we've identified here in New South Wales. We've tested over 40,000 people, which is quite high compared to other jurisdictions around the world. And we're glad about that. We'll continue to do that. But I can't stress enough that in addition to having our borders closed, it's really important for all of us to make sure we do the social distancing. Don't be, give yourself 4 square metres around you, which is about an arm length. Make sure you respect all those guidelines, because we're at a stage now where we've still only just got a handful of people in intensive care across the state, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to see more people having to require that serious medical attention, because that's what the disease can do, especially for those most vulnerable. The other positive thing to take from this is that the vast majority of people who have the disease in New South Wales are at home resting, and some of them didn't even display any symptoms. So we're grateful that those that are high risk are coming forward to be tested, and that's why the health experts have been really definitive to say if you haven't been overseas, you don't have any symptoms, please don't get tested, because we want to make sure those that have the symptoms and have the symptoms and have been in contact with someone who's got the virus, they're the ones that really should go and get tested as soon as possible.
Premier, you just mentioned there you should be 4 metres apart from other people.
No, 4 square metres.
Right.
No, it's 4 square metres. So
right.
So it's essentially an arm length around you, which the medical experts describe as 4 square metres. So it's essentially an arm length. I'm sorry?
It's essentially still the 1.5 metre distance, but you're talking about a circumference. OK, got it.
Exactly. So if you stick out your arm the whole way around your body, that's the distance you should be from everybody.
Okay.
So in front and behind and on the...
Are you still fine-tuning the indoor ban yourself, other premiers and the federal government as well? Is that taking place?
Well, it's on the public record that the National Cabinet will be considering that today. So I'm looking forward to meeting with my colleagues and providing consistency across the nation so that all of us are on the same page, and that will be happening today.
How does New South Wales propose the best way is to impose this social distancing, and does it change from venue to venue?
Oh, look, they're matters we're going to discuss. I don't want to preempt what those discussions will be, but we've been very open about what we need to do. We wanted to make sure the community was preparing itself for indoor gatherings, and unfortunately we've seen in New South Wales examples where a number of people attended a same event, and many of them have come down with the virus. So we know for a fact, and the health experts have been warning us, that when you're in close proximity with someone who has the virus, it does spread, and spreads very rapidly and very viciously. And we can't take a thing for granted, can't be too careful. I always say to people, you should act as though you've got it. In other words, make sure you keep a safe distance, don't have physical contact. I mean, these are unfortunately the new normals we all have to live by. None of us are excluded, and none of us can think, I'm not going to get it, I never get sick, because some of us might be walking around and not even realising we've got the virus.
Premier, there is still panic buying that is taking place. People are even selling items on the black market. There's people going into regional centres now. We heard Peter Dutton talking about this yesterday, that he's going to get tough on people selling items on the black market. Why isn't the message getting through?
Well, I think the message is starting to get through, but what we've also done in New South Wales is today we'll be making orders to allow trucks to deliver goods in the middle of the night. So we're saying to councils, we'll override the regulations that exist. We want to make sure if supplies end up somewhere in the middle of the night, so be it. All of us can put up with a bit more noise to make sure supplies are getting to those outlets when they need to. And I think that's an important move. So all levels of government are doing their bit. We're doing our bit to make sure that we get the supply chain moving more quickly. And if trucks can deliver their goods in the middle of the night, so be it. That will help those supermarkets restock their shelves quicker. And there's no reason to panic. And I say to everybody, if we control's the wrong word, because no one can control the virus. But if we maintain the social distancing and keep the number of people needing serious medical attention to a minimum. If we can control those numbers, it means that we can have the freedoms we've got now to do what we're doing. And we want to make sure we prolong that as much as possible, because there could be a stage where it does get out of control and we can't control the spread of it. I'm not suggesting we're controlling it now, but we're certainly managing it. We're certainly holding the line. We're able to identify the contacts of the people who are confirmed cases. We've tested tens of thousands of people. So it's important for all of us to do our part so that we can manage this stage of the virus here in New South Wales.
What about schools? What's the latest information you have to hand about whether they should remain open or not? And you run the schools, the states run the schools, the government part funds them. So what are you doing to kind of impose this social distancing in the classroom?
Well, the medical experts say, obviously, we've provided guidelines to all of our teachers, all of our schools. I want to thank the Department of Education and the Secretary and the Minister for getting those messages to teachers, and thank you to all the teachers who are doing their part. But our schools have the guidelines in place as to what's a safe way for the children to attend school. And the health experts argue, and we support them, every single state premier is very strong on this, as is the Prime Minister, that the safest option, the best health outcome now is for schools to stay open, and the benefits far outweigh the detriments. And we've also seen a very, very small number of cases involving children. In fact, there's only one known case of someone under 10 in New South Wales. So the numbers are very low at that end of the demographics, and school is a safe place for children at this stage. And if it's not, we'll be advised otherwise. But the strong advice coming to all of us, and that's why my colleagues and I have all been very strong to this, and we hear the concerns that some parents express, we hear the concerns some stakeholders express, but we can't ignore the health advice, we can't ignore what is in the best interest of the community, and it's important for us to explain the rationale so that parents have a degree of comfort knowing that the decision's based on health advice and based on what we know is happening around the world as well.
Well, just quickly on schools then, at what point might that change? Are health experts looking at the infection rate? Because indeed it's New South Wales, your state, that has the highest number of cases.
Yeah, but as I said, the vast majority of those cases are people who've either travelled overseas or have been in direct contact with someone from overseas. And there's only been, from memory until this point in time, only one person under the age of 10, one child under the age of 10 who actually has the virus out of all those cases. So in actual fact, the health advice we've received says to us that a student has more chance of catching the virus from an adult at home than they do at school. And when you're presented with that type of advice, we know that we're confident that the decision we've taken is the right one. But at any stage that health advice changes for any reason, of course we'll make those policy changes as well. But at this point in time, we have to go with the health advice. It's very overwhelming and convincing. And each of my colleagues, it doesn't matter which political party we're from, we all feel the same, because we've had the benefit of having these briefings, being given the information, and it's our task through our various education departments to make sure that teachers and students and parents and the school community have access to this very strong information, overwhelming information as well.